I actually wasn't going to perform tonight, but I decided to, after spending some time with my mother today, I decided to sit down with her and just recite some of my poetry to her. And it was interesting. It was interesting because my mom, she heard me and she started to cry. And told me that I remind her of some of my personal idols. So if it comes from my mom, who says, you know, Ali, there's a little bit of Toni Morrison in you and a little bit of Maya Angelou. I started to bawl because she didn't understand how much that meant to me. So I'm going to share with you the poem that I read for my mom. I actually performed it last month. And then I'm going to do another poem for you guys that I actually wrote today, right after speaking to my mom. So the first one is entitled, If My Son Was Problematic on the Internet. Woo! I am terrified of having a son who acts like the men I have encountered on the internet. I have imagined what could possibly happen if I was to accidentally stumble on his social media, falling face first in my own disgust and disappointment. My son, my black boy, who had been cradled in the strength of loving arms only a black woman possesses, has the nerve to sell me out for 300 retweets and 56 likes. Telling the world that my kinky hair that grows out of his head wasn't good enough. That my broad nose was too broad for his narrow mind. That my attitude that he inherited was too much to handle. See, he didn't like that I was not submissive. His mother was too much like the weather. I was calm, I was harsh, I was quiet, I was unforgiving, I was powerful, I was unable to be controlled. My son told the world that he couldn't reproduce with a black woman like me because he was too scared to birth black children like himself. My son decided to find refuge in other races, deeming his as unfit. Instead of finding refuge in my arms, knowing that I loved him regardless, he spits on me anyhow. Abusing my limitless love, displaying his dissatisfaction openly for others to pick me apart. When did my baby start to hate me so deeply? Who taught my boy to hate himself so immensely? Talking with an open mouth and a closed heart, swallowing what he believed was the black woman's worth from a European stance, forgetting the hand that fed him. He didn't understand the weight of the world that ripped through us like razor blades being wielded by our own seeds. So when our sons lick our wounds, they reopen our flesh with these cuts as if their taste buds taught them how to. I looked at my problematic son, feeling as if I had failed him, but no one said that motherhood was easy. No one said that building a man would be easy, so I looked him in the face and I said, son, from this day forward, I need you to stomp your mother's spine into the roof of your mouth so every time you speak, you remind your vertebrae that I am the one that makes you stand upright. I need you to unlearn and decolonize your mind. I want you to love yourself with such ferocity that it makes others uncomfortable. When you think of black women, think of us as necessary punctuation. My body bent out of shape to bring you life. The parentheses of my both legs carried your weight. You will respect me, period. The stride of my walk will be like exclamation marks dancing on top of ellipses, typographical devices that help you in the understanding and correct reading of life, the calligraphy that makes your existence beautiful, the written history of who you are is personified in me. Because once you learn to love me, you will be able to love others freely without being problematic on the internet. Thank you. The next one, so I might kind of stumble on it. I just wrote it a couple hours ago. And this one is entitled Say Her Name. July 10th, 2015. I forgot to use my turn signal while driving, and I saw the flashing lights of the car behind me and my heart started to race. The officer was hostile, yanking me out of my car after I refused to get out, and I asked why am I being arrested, but he didn't seem to get the message, so I didn't seem to get an answer. I was forced to the ground, face in the dirt, and arrested. 3 days later, I died in police custody, but no one marched for me. March 21st, 2012, I was walking home with some of my friends when we got into an altercation with a police officer, and it wasn't anything too hard, but my friends started mouthing off. See, Antonio decided to take out his cell phone and record the exchange, and next thing I hear is a loud noise, then Antonio drops his phone, then Antonio drops the floor, and I hear another loud noise, and then I hear nothing at all. I feel my face hit the pavement and my vision is disappearing, and all I can think is God, I don't want to die like this. But no one marched for me. May 16th, 2010. I was laying on my grandma's couch and I finished all my homework and I ate all my dinner, and my grandma said I could watch some cartoons. I could feel myself falling asleep, but I decided not to move, and I heard my dad come in and kiss me on the forehead, and then he left the apartment. But next thing I know, the front door is being kicked down, a bright flash blinds me, and smoke fills the room. I can hear my grandmother screaming, and I start to cry. What is going on in my home? I hear another loud noise, my body is blown back to the couch, and my grandmother runs over to me, but my eyes close before I can hear what she had to say, and still no one marched for me. Maybe everyone's hands were tied. So many things to fight for. Perhaps no one remembered to fight for me. I guess the world was too busy making picket signs saying, stop killing our black boys, that they forgot that black girls died too. Say my name and remember, because I was sacrificed for a bigger cause too. My grave is 6 feet too deep from a hug from my mother. See, I suffer too. But I guess no one hears the cries of a black girl's ghost in the nighttime. How long does my body have to sway from a tree before someone decides to cut it down? How long do I have to lay in the street, cameras flashing on me, before someone has this decency to cover me up with a sheet? How long does my body have to decompose before someone smell it rot? I get shot by the cops and no one notices me. I guess I'm just not that important. See, a young black boy dies and the world stops for him. Al Sharpton shows up for him. He is written in our history books as a martyr, and I get so much as a blurb in the comments section. The world loves to sympathize with the black man who gets shot by the cops or the white woman who gets raped, but the black girl who deals with both somehow falls in between the cracks, becoming no one's burden to bear other than her own. So when the same black boy you fight for stretches me out in a coffin, who fights for me? When a police officer mistakes my cell phone as a gun, who fights for me? When I am put through the school to prison pipeline, who fights for me? When I fight depression, who fights for me? We say Black Lives Matter, but who fights for me? We water these gardens filled with black boys' names, yet somehow the black girl story grows through the concrete, still wondering who fights for me. Thank you.